Let's take a closer look at how Europe is dealing with the COVID-19 outbreak. We've got reporters standing by across the continent for us this morning. We're going to be going to Berlin, Athens and Moscow. But right now, let's start in Italy and go to Milan, where our correspondent Georgia Orlandi is there for us. Very good morning to you, Georgia. Milan and northern Italy in particular has become sort of ground zero for the outbreak of coronavirus on the continent. How are authorities dealing with the outbreak?
Good morning, Rosie. While authorities are now trying to contain the spread of the virus as much as possible, we know that Prime Minister Conte will hold a special meeting today with local governors to make sure that they can coordinate decisions that will be taken by each region. But at the same time, authorities are now trying to maintain the quarantine in the so-called red zone, as people are struggling when it comes, especially elderly people are struggling when it comes to coping with such a situation. We know as well that train lines were suspended yesterday due to a suspect case. People here in general across northern regions are trying to stock up, as you mentioned, on face masks, but also on hand sanitizers. Authorities have to deal with an overall sense of panic as people are now overcrowding medical facilities, but also emergency phone lines as well. Let's now head over to Berlin, where Jonah Gallagher is there for us with the latest on the situation in Germany. Jonah.
Well, here in Germany, we've had 16 confirmed cases and no confirmed deaths. That means that obviously it is not an outbreak here in Germany yet. And there has been some good news. Some of these original 16 cases have been declared healthy and they have been allowed to go home. And that also includes people that have been in quarantine after returning from, for example, China. Still, there is obviously a worry, and the German health ministry are saying that they are preparing for a possible outbreak here in Germany. That includes coordination with the local hospitals and with the local governments, also preparing for more quarantine areas. Now, there is also another side to this here in Germany, which is harder to control and which has potentially also a huge impact, and that is the financial impact. Germany is an export-driven country that relies on supply chains across the globe. And the problem is that this virus can, and probably already is, disrupting these supply chains. Now, you could see that with the DAX yesterday, the German stock market dropping 4%, that this is becoming an increasing worry. But still, no confirmed cases in a few weeks here in Germany. The problem now, obviously, is as it's creeping nearer with Italy, Germany is worrying that it's going to come across the border, and then these measures will be taken to contain it as much as possible. Now let's head over to Athens, where Faye is ready to let us know about the situation in Greece.
Thanks, Jonah. In Greece, we don't have any cases of the virus yet, but the authorities say that it's just a matter of time. Since there are many connections between the two countries, there are many students, Greek students studying in Italian universities. There are many businesses going back and forth every day. And of course, there are many Greek visitors going to Italy and many Italian visitors coming to Athens. So they are embracing for when the virus comes in Greece. In a mini cabinet meeting yesterday, though, it was not decided to impose special measures like putting quarantine or taking the temperature of passengers of flights or boats coming from Italy. But it was decided from the Ministry of Education to cancel all the high school travels that were planned to Italy for the next few weeks, and those students that were in Italy having holidays there, they are coming back. We are outside now of one of the two reference hospitals in Athens, and the doctors and the personnel here told us that they are prepared for when the virus comes and that their hospital is fully equipped to treat patients with coronavirus. And let's go now to Moscow, where Galina Polonskaya has more about the situation in Russia.
Thank you, Faye. While the Russian authorities have introduced some of the toughest quarantine measures outside China, only here in Moscow there are more than 2,500 of people placed in quarantine. And there are 5 coronavirus cases officially confirmed. 2 of them are Chinese tourists, 3 are those who came back from the Diamond Princess. Now, on the 20th of February, Russia banned Chinese tourists, students and workers from entering the country, and now the authorities are doing everything to find those who entered before. You see, the bus drivers and the metro station workers are obliged to report the police every time they see a Chinese. There are raids on hotels and apartments. The authorities are using video surveillance cameras and face recognition system, and they are placing Chinese people in quarantine at their homes mostly. A woman, for example, disobeyed and she was immediately tracked down with the help of a video surveillance camera, reported the Moscow mayor. There is also increased disinfection measures taken into public places and public transport. So very, very tough quarantine measures here in Moscow, Rosie.